What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be showing you how to make Outback Steakhouse. This is the refresh version of Outback, and this might be one of my favorite refreshes so far, actually. I feel like I've said that more than half the time, but I really like how this one turned out. So yeah, there it is, and there will be an interior. Obviously, all refresh have interiors. It just won't be in this video. But yeah, that is all. So with that being said, enjoy the tutorial, and I will catch you on the flip side. Here is the original Outback. Yikes. If anyone's curious, though. There it is. And here is the remake, which isn't half bad, actually, but I do still think the refresh one is better. Here are all the materials you'll be needing for this build. I forgot mangrove planks. I got the slabs and was like, yeah, I'll put the planks on there with the slabs. And then I just forgot to do that, but slabs are there, so that's close enough, I guess. Alrighty, and the space for me for this is a 41 by 64, and as per usual, we're just going to start with smooth stone slabs. Although we're not going to get to a front corner, we're actually going to get to this door here on the right side, which is technically one of the entrances. I guess that's not the main entrance, but it's one of them. Starting from the front right-hand corner of your 41 by 64 grid coffee minute, you want to start by counting left by 1, and going back from this block, you're going to place 37 smooth stone slabs. Just like so, and this will be where we start behind that. If you are curious on the spacing overall, in front of this block you would need, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, you need about 18 blocks forward from this corner that we're going to start on, just because I know I'd imagine some of you won't actually want the parking lot, so yeah, I try to start in the corner to make that convenient, but I realize not every time that'll happen. Start by getting out the following anyway. Tough bricks, terracotta, black stained glass, dark oak door, black stained glass panes, polished blackstone, gray concrete, mangrove planks, and stripped mangrove wood. Start by going back behind this row of smooth stone, and you're going to place 5 tough bricks. You'll then extend left by 4 from that backmost one. On that back row of tough bricks, you'll place terracotta. Extending forward on the right, you'll place 3 black stained glass panes and another terracotta. Place yet another row of terracotta on top of all of what you just placed. And then back on the front, going left of this front tough brick, you'll place a tough brick, dark oak door, and another tough brick. On the tough brick to the right of the door, you'll place a black glass, and just extend everything else up with terracotta to be the same height. From the front left tough brick, or the one just left of the door, you'll go forward diagonally left with a tough brick, forward with 3 black stained glass panes, tough brick, 3 black stained glass panes, tough brick. Copy that row 2 more times, but you'll place terracotta on top of the tough bricks instead of more tough bricks. Panes are the same. Hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I am for the most part. Then what you'll do is you'll replace the blocks in the floor below the panes with polished blackstone. As for these windows, not including this section where the door is, just the windows, you're going to extend the terracottas on either side of the windows up by an additional 6. Including the one in the center. Actually, not the one in the center. I changed my mind. You'll see why in a sec. You'll extend the center one only up by 3. Then what you can do is place gray concrete on top of each of the glass panes. Then 2 more rows of black stained glass panes on top of that gray concrete. And that should make the terracotta in the center the same height as those windows. Which on top of that you'll place 2 rows of gray concrete and then a row of terracotta. Oh, that looks like a face. Oh, that looks so like a face. I don't like that. ignoring that, on top of the doorway area here, we can place gray concrete on these terracotta. Just like lower section. I'm going to bring the gray concrete front, like the row in the front, I guess on top of the doorway. You'll extend left an additional one, connect it back, and fill in the 3x3 you're left with and with gray concrete. Then what you can do is take the gray concrete under the front window, like I guess between the front set of windows here, this frontmost gray concrete. Extend it out by one and bring this gray concrete all the way around the, I guess, terracotta and gray concrete going back, right, back again, and then left. And it should give you this. It should overhang by one kind of at all points, like so that you're at least placing it on. Hopefully that wasn't weird. That was definitely a little weird. I don't know why my explaining has been out of whack. Take this frontmost tough brick and extend it forward diagonally left with a mangrove plank. Extend forward 3. Then left 3. Extend each mangrove plank there up with 6 strip mangrove wood all facing up. We're dealing with a lot of different heights here. This is the main one that we're going to need. Remember that. That's like the, I guess it is just the main height. I don't entirely know what else you want from me. Get rid of... Oh, this is annoying. What are we going to get rid of here? Gray concrete, I guess, for now. And get out mud bricks. We'll have to skip a section. Or 2 or 4. From this leftmost mangrove plank, you'll extend forward diagonally left with a tough brick. Extend it left by 7. Correction, 9, not 7. I don't know how I messed that up. And then from the end of that row, you'll count 4 or extend forward diagonally left with a tough brick. Left 2. Back with a polished blackstone. And then I'm going to go left of that and place 3 polished blackstone in the floor. And on top of those polished blackstone going, I guess left to right or right to left, doesn't matter. You'll place black glass, dark oak door, black glass. And then to the left of the leftmost black glass, you'll place a polished blackstone. Tough brick in front. Extend it left by 2. Then go back diagonally left with a mud brick. Left 2 and back 1. You can then get rid of your dark oak door and black glass. And get out polished blackstone slabs for a brief second, along with gray concrete again. Extend... Well, I'll start by saying extend each of the polished blackstone blocks on the sides of the door up by 3, and then connect them together from there. I'm so smart. You need to bring the black glass blocks up with more black glass, so I'm just going to get rid of my gray concrete real quick and fill that up and then get it back out. I apologize. I don't know how I missed that. Extend the outermost tough bricks, so in these rows of 3, up with 8 terracotta. It should be the same height as that one over there on the right wall. You'll place, this time, 2 rows of terracotta at the top. And then below that, 2 rows of gray concrete. And then below that, just 2 more rows of terracotta. I will bring the tough bricks, the remaining ones, up with terracotta just to connect into this. And then where you have the doorway, I'll place upside down polished blackstone slabs at the top half. Nice. You can get rid of your polished blackstone slabs and get out polished blackstone walls. And I'll make sure these are next to the glass panes in the inventory just because it'll make our life easier right about now. At the left side, you'll take this backmost mud brick, and to the left of it, you'll place a polished blackstone wall, 2 black stained glass panes, polished blackstone wall, 2 black stained glass panes, polished black stone block, then extend back with 2 panes, wall, 2 panes, wall. Extend each wall up by 4. This part's a bit strange. Extend the polished blackstone block on the corner also up by 4. And then what you'll end up doing is extending each pane up by 3. And placing polished blackstone blocks on top of them from there. And that'll just give you this kind of funny little ridged effect. And I think it looks nice. It's definitely a little strange, but if you don't like it, you can just make the full top row blocks or walls or whatever. You can play around with it, but I thought it'd be cool to kind of mix and match. Behind this back row of walls, you will place a tough brick here. Extend left by 1 and then back by 8. Same thing as we've done. Extend either end tough brick up with a terracotta. Connect the top ones together. Place 2 rows of gray concrete below that, and then the rest of this will be filled in with terracotta, including this row kind of tucked in on the right side of it if you're looking at it. The one gray concrete thing on the front is lower on purpose. We have a logo that sits above that one, hence why it is that block lower. But you can see all these are the same height, so yeah. Continuing along this side here, if you take this end tough brick, you'll go back diagonally right with a mud brick. Then back by 7. Back diagonally right with a mangrove plank. Back by 10. You'll then go right by 9 or across the back. Gap of 1, and then you'll place 20 mangrove planks. Extend forward by 12. And then from there, if I'm correct, you're going forward diagonally right with a mud brick and connecting forward with 3. So that gives you a row of 4 at the end. And as per usual, if you don't care for my interior, look at the sizing of this and decide if it is good. This is quite large, so I personally think it's good. But, you know, to each their own. So the only thing I'm going to tell you is, do we need the terracotta still? Yes, technically, I think. Yeah, so we can get that out of the way, though. Each terracotta, like the top row only, you're going to want to make it 3 thick. And you don't actually have to fill in the top. You just have to basically bring each side in until it is 3. So on this side here, you only have to bring that in by 1. But everything else you're bringing in by 2. And then you'll connect together at that end row. And that's all for our terracotta. And tough bricks, actually. Cool. You can get rid of the... and make sure that we actually don't need the terracotta for there. Yeah, you can get rid of the terracotta and tough bricks. And get out spruce planks and... spruce door. That's the whole point of what I was doing. Because on that gap in the back, you're just placing a spruce door in it. Most of what's left will be strip mangrove, but we have got a little bit that is spruce, which are the mud brick rows. So the only mud brick row that actually has any windows is this front one to the right of the main entrance. That looks so weird right now. You want to take the furthest right mud brick here on the front, and going right to left from this block, you want to do the following. You'll place a spruce plank. That's not right. There we go. 2 black stained glass panes. Polished blackstone wall. 2 black stained glass panes. Polished blackstone wall. 2 black stained glass panes, and then a spruce plank. You'll then copy that row 1 more time. And from there, you can place a nice 5 rows of spruce planks on top. It should be 1 row shorter than the terracotta. That's your boundary point, or your baseline. any other mud bricks we have, you're just placing 7 spruce planks on top of. And yeah. Yeah, this won't be too long of an exterior, which is good. I was worried this was going to take a while. It won't be short. I mean, the parking lot is generally like half the video anyway. So I do have that left, but... just this row. And then, yeah. Nice. This row on the, like, right side, you can just bring each spruce forward to connect into this terracotta and kind of over the little entrance that sticks out. Just like so. Only a couple minor things left. The first thing I'm going to focus on is the front left. Just on top of all your polished blackstone here, you're placing 2 rows of straight mangrove wood facing up. Like so. And then as for the like full back left, I guess the just whole back kind of C shape we got going on here, you're just placing 6 rows of strip mangrove wood on top. I would advise filling at least 2 of these walls, because filling these upward facing is annoying. So anything to speed up that process, I will do that myself in a second. So I'll just do these 2. Boink. Stripped mangrove wood. And I'll do keep so that door doesn't get sent to the Shadow Realm. Because that is something I do need to be worried about. You should have this. Nice. Now, this is kind of where things are going to start to get weird as we start to shape some of the final details. As for the main build itself, at least. On top of the top spruce planks and terracotta, you're placing polished blackstone blocks. For the spruce, it's just 1 row, and for the terracotta, it's those 3 rows. You do want to make sure for the terracotta, you actually fill in the middle of those tops. Generally, I know for the refresh, we use white wool for the roof, and we actually still do for this one, just not here. And for the spruce, like to the left of the entrance, where you're going to have this extra block, you should have this extra block, you want to actually just knock it down by at least 1 and just don't place polished blackstone on top. It just wants to be that 1 row. I'll explain why in a sec for that. You should have this. Basically, the reason that we do this is because the white wool for this part will wrap around and it'll just go over this block instead. Because technically all the spruce should be 1 block thick, and we have it too just to make sure that these walls actually have something to connect to. What is shining? Right there. Okay, never mind. There we go. Whatever. You can get rid of your spruce door and get out polished blackstone stairs, and around each of these polished blackstone rows on all sides that you can, you'll place upside down polished blackstone stairs. Including corners and everything fancy. And then we'll just save that bottom layer roof for a bit later, I think. Well, we might just get it out of the way. I was gonna leave it, but I don't really see the point in leaving it. Because you're gonna get a better feel for how the build looks with that in. Definitely. Guess we technically don't have to fill it immediately, but there's no point in not filling it if we're gonna at least get the stairs laid out, so I don't know. Yeah, we'll probably just do it. Anywho, as of right now, you should have this. It's a lot of layers going on here. Get rid of really anything but your stairs. It doesn't matter what. I'm just going to get rid of the gray concrete and get out white wool. And you want to place white wool on top of each top stripped mangrove wood. This should be familiar, probably. These refresh series builds do have some of the same steps. You'll then wrap that white wool in upside down polished blackstone stairs on whatever side you can, obviously. Not the inside though, that you don't want to do that. And then you can fill in the rest of the center of the roof in with white wool. Now here's something interesting. Some of this white wool I think is in line to create a square. Let me just... Yeah, the front two walls are in line. And I think the right two are? No, the right two are block off. The right two and... How do I explain this? Essentially, if you add an additional row of white wool on the left and the right here extending forward, or just bring the actual row itself forward that you'd already have. Sorry, not extend or add an additional one. You'll see where I'm going with this. Don't worry. It'll kind of just tuck inside, and then it'll leave you with a perfect rectangle. And you can just connect the front too if you want to solidify the fact that you have an open rectangle to just do a slash fill with. Anything to make sure that you don't overfill, because that does cause some issues sometimes. Nice, you should have this. I kind of think it's appropriate to get the banner letters out of the way next, so you can clear your inventory and just smack a loom on the floor real quick. I would just like aggressively place it and then get rid of it, because so you have the extra inventory space. And you need gray banners and just red and gray dye. And I'm gonna tug this into my inventory for me to forget about it forever. Pop in your first gray banner along with your red dye, and you're going to do all four sides with red. So top and bottom, which is Chief Fest and Base Fest. Left and right, which is Pale Dexter and Pale Sinister. You'll then do the same, but you will not include the top, so you'll just do right and left, which is Pale Sinister and Pale Dexter, and then bottom, which is Base Fest. Next one in, you'll do the line across the top, which is Chief Fest, and then line down the direct center, which is Pale. Next one, you'll do the line down the right, which is Pale Sinister. You'll then put in your gray dye and do the lozenge. Yes, the lozenge pattern. Put back in your red, do the line down the left, which is Pale Dexter. And then all three lines going left to right, which is Chief Fest at the top, Base Fest at the bottom, and then Fest through the center. That's a beat. Next one, gray banner in, red line along the top, which is Chief Fest. Put in a gray dye, and again, do the lozenge pattern. I always seem to use that for some reason. Red dye back in, line down the right and left, which is Pale Sinister and Pale Dexter. Line left to right through the center, which is Fest. Two more. Next one, you'll do the line across top and bottom, which is Chief Fest and Base Fest. Line down the left, which is Pale Dexter. Finally, gray banner in. Full left half is red, which is per Pale, and then you want to do both Bend and Bend Sinister, which are those diagonal lines. You could technically just do the, I think it's called Saltier or something, the like X, but those lines are thinner, so it just looks better to do the K. Yeah, you can break your loom. And on each of those like gray concrete rectangles on the terracotta sections, you'll place these banners. So just going left to right along the top row, you'll go O, U, T, B, A, C, K, just the order we made them in. Oh, I missed a section of stairs. How could I? That's kind of weird, though, to be fair. And again, you're placing 3 sets of these banners. And then you can get rid of everything and fix those stairs, because you definitely forgot them, too. Professional gaslighter here. Man, you should have this. Continuing on the front one only, you want to get out mangrove stairs, mangrove slabs, mangrove trap doors, pale oak signs, gray concrete, polished deep slate walls, tough bricks, polished blackstone brick walls, and lanterns. I go with regular lanterns, but I do think the green ones are very cool looking, so they weren't out when I made this, though. Over the banners for this front one specifically, you're placing a trap door over the left and the right banners, just on the terracotta. You'll then go in from them on both sides with a mangrove slab, and then from the left slab, you're going to go to the right with a stair that faces left. And then right of that, just 2 planks, which you can make out of slabs. And that looks like the Outback logo, which I don't know what it is, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. It looks like an island, but I don't know. On the row of terracotta below the banner letters, excluding the O and the K, the outermost ones. You'll place pale oak signs under the middle 5, I want to say it is. Yeah. Nice. And then below that, on this row, you want to head to the left to this row of 3 spruce, and you want to be on the center one like I am right now, highlighting it. And again, it's the 3rd spruce up if you want a number. You'll place 4 gray concrete extending out, and then you want to go all the way right and connect into the final spruce plank on that row to the right. So if you want numbers again, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 gray concrete to the right, and then the 3 back, which should give you this. You'll then fill in all that with gray concrete. Take either corner and extend down with a polished deep slate wall and then 2 tough bricks. And then the other position we're going to take is actually just to the right of the door here, this row of kind of 3 terracotta. You'll just trace the outer row. I'll say this outer bottom tough brick, forward 3, 2 tough bricks up, and then a polished deep slate wall again. One thing I'm going to note right now is the door is very dark, but also I don't think my time of day is helping. To the left and the right of the door itself, the, I guess, top half of the door, we'll say, on this bottom terracotta, the center bottom terracotta, on both sides you'll place a polished blackstone brick wall off of with a lantern above. You want it to sit on the wall rather than hang from the gray, and that just gives you some nice lighting. And that's your main build done. There's no other details on the Outback itself that you need. However, if you care about the parking lot and stuff, we can do that now. So clear your inventory and get out the following. Sandstone, smooth stone slabs, bamboo slabs, gray concrete, white concrete, light blue concrete, and I know I'm gonna forget it if we don't get out the materials now. So warped stairs, warped slabs, which we're gonna use for planks, along with we want diorite slabs. So yeah, I think we're gonna start with that actually. Head to the back of the build and direct your attention to look forward at the back door like this. Again, if we don't do this now, I know I'm gonna forget it, so I want to get it out of the way. Take the 2nd mangrove plank to the left of the door and extend it out with 5 smooth stone slabs. Do the same with the 7th to the right of the door. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Connect those slabs together, and then you'll break this little grass area and replace it with sandstone as your pavement. If you don't like my block choices, I don't know why I still use smooth stone slabs. That's like a 5-year-old choice there for me. More than that, actually. Probably like 10. Change it to whatever you want, but just kind of sandstone would be the sidewalk, smooth stone would be the like curb. Technically, they are probably the same normally, but too bad. Against the rightmost row of slabs, you're going to place just a row of 4 warped planks, like so. Extend either end of plank left with a warp stair. There'll be a couple warp stairs. I guess it'll face away from each other like so. And then another warped plank on the ends. Connect those planks together. And then you'll end up taking the warp stairs and extending either one up with a plank. And then left and right of those planks you'll place slabs. And inside this you'll just place whatever diorite slabs is what I told you to get out, and that's what we're going to use. You don't, if you didn't use diorite slabs, you can get something else out. But this is a dumpster. I don't have a path back to here. I probably should, because I am just now realizing that the truck would need to be able to pick them up in some way. But it's fine, whatever. Head back around to the front. And we can start the parking lot. I don't know why I went through every word but parking lot or every phrase. You want to take this leftmost pillar on this kind of overhang on the front, and just in front of the tough bricks, you're placing a gray concrete in the floor. To the right of it, you want to place 3 bamboo slabs not in the floor, gray concrete in the floor, and then you're going to repeat that just until you reach the end. So 3 slabs, concrete, 3 slabs, concrete, each concrete being in the floor, each slab not being in the floor. And eventually you'll reach the end to where you can't do it anymore. Which is that smooth stone slab row that we placed way back at the beginning. Feels like so long ago. To the left of this row that you just did, you want to place 9 smooth stone slabs. And you're going to basically want to connect these 2 corners that you have. Not directly though, because from this front right smooth stone slab, you can count to the left and you want to have 4 gray concrete in the floor. Then 3 white concrete. And then not in the floor from there, you'll just place smooth stone slabs spanning the rest of the grid almost, except for this end row. Or just alternatively until you're lined up with that back slab and you'll connect these together. This entire area you can either break and leave open or just fill with gray concrete. I'm going to fill it with gray concrete and just punch in the parking lot lines. But if you aren't using slash fill like I am, I would just punch it all out. Or alternatively, just wait until after and, you know, deal with it then. From both left side corners, the back left and front left, you want to break the very corner block and then break towards each other an additional 4 to create these rows of 5. You'll then, going left, leave gaps of 3 and continue to break these rows of 5 on the back until you reach the opposite side, and on the front until you're basically on that opening. You don't want to cover the opening at all with these lines. You don't want to get involved with it. Like, I'm just going to end because you see I'll be 1 block shy of it there, and that's where I will end. And then on the back, yeah, it should look like this. These will actually line up with these gray concretes between the bamboo slabs if everything is done correctly. You can technically make the gray concretes between them white, but I didn't because I don't know. I just didn't. And then each of these lines you'll fill in with white concrete if I didn't say that already. I don't know. I might have. Flip a coin. That's the answer most of the time. Anyway. You should end up with this. Pick a, I'm going to say the leftmost parking space with the bamboo slabs behind it, and in the direct center of it you'll place a light blue concrete. If you skip one to the right or skip one space to the right, you'll do the same to the next one. The space between those light blues and the one to the right, you want to do the same thing, and if you look at them from top down, you'll break the bottom left and top right corners. From the top left, you'll count down by 1 and go down diagonally right 3, and fill all that with white. That's your parking lot. For the sandstone, you want to do the following. Behind the tough brick pillar furthest left for this overhang, you want to place 2 sandstone in the floor. These 3, which includes the pillar, by the way, I'm going to basically break all the way right until I reach this row of smooth stone and then fill this with sandstone. Just like this. The only exception, I guess, here that I'm going to say is you do want to make sure you fill sandstone, like, leading up to the door, that little row of 3. Right here. Which might be a good idea. And then on the right side, you want to, going back, have also 3 rows of sandstone. It'll just be the rightmost 3 rows. Like so. There's technically only one more thing before. Okay, well, yeah, no, I'll save that for the interior. That's fine. I didn't leave any, or I didn't have any of this rather in the like material list. However, for the like remainder of the grass area, really in the grid in general, you can do whatever you want to add some plant stuff. For those of you who are or who know my stuff, here's what I would use. I'd use firefly bushes, although those are weird because they will actually spawn inside the building. So just do keep that in mind. Flowering azalea. Azalea leaves. The flowering azalea one specifically. Bamboo. Big drip leaves. Bushes, and I think that's it. Where are bushes? Are they in ground cover? They are. And you basically want to just place... I would do this like front right area here, just kind of a combination of each of these blocks. I'll just go one at a time and just kind of fill. And yeah, you want to fill this space. Make the bamboo and drip leaves between 1 and 3 blocks, no more than that, I would say. And yeah, something like that. That's a lot of fireflies, something like that. And for this front left area, I didn't do a ton. I really just bordered the sandstone. I don't want a firefly bush here, I don't think. Something like that. And, yeah, once you're done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is your refresh series Outback complete, except for the interior. We'll get there, though, soon, hopefully. I don't feel like it myself, but, I mean, we'll get there either way. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, God, I'm stuttering so hard in this video, I apologize. Anyway, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.